So apparently tall girls are trending on social media right now, and low-key for the wrong reasons. Over the past few weeks on my TikTok feed specifically, I've been seeing men, this is very important to know, keep that in mind for later, men have been talking about tall women and how they're beautiful and how tall women have been slept on in the dating world, etc. And these videos are getting tens of thousands and even hundreds of thousands of likes and comments and shares. Great, awesome. You may be asking, why is that a problem? Why is that such a bad thing? Don't you agree that tall women are beautiful and often slept on? Heck yeah, I agree 100,000%. But the thing is, tall women have been saying this for years. And now in 2025, it's like, yes, period, tall girls. Like, come on now. So today we're gonna dive deeper into this and why social media is an interesting and quite frankly, messy place for tall women. So let's get into it. Hi, it's Editing India here. So I somehow forgot to record my usual good morning intro. Don't know how that slipped my mind, but anyways, you know the drill. All of the links for my socials, my newsletter, how to support me, everything is going to be in my description. So make sure you check that out and make sure you check out my socials at A Tall Girls Podcast. All right then. By the way, before we get into the episode, I'm quite literally wearing a top, a long sleeve shirt from American Tall. I'm obsessed. It's so soft, so stretchy, and it's long enough, like it goes past my wrist, and I'm like, ugh, I've been wanting this for the longest time. So anyways, quick shout out to American Tall. Love y'all down. I need to apply to be y'all's ambassador because I'm in love. Like, I have 3 of these long sleeve shirts, washed them several times, have not shrunk anything. Highly recommend. Anyways, just wanted to put y'all onto that really quickly. But anyways, I am low-key late to this topic because tall girls have been trending on social media probably since like February, end of February, beginning of March, and it's currently April. But you know what? It's okay. We had other episodes in the pipeline and, I had to gather my thoughts and gather a couple TikTok videos, social media videos for you guys and all that stuff so that this episode can come into fruition. So I'm not too mad about it. But yeah, tall girls are trending, have been trending on social media and, they're trending for multiple reasons. There are multiple different types of trends for tall women currently in the social media world, but men talking about how they're absolutely stunning and all this other stuff is one of them. Just as an example, let's play one of these videos.
You lot see this tall girl trend thing that's going on? Me personally, I absolutely love it. Cause bro, them short girls are cool, them short girls are cute, you know what I'm saying? But tall girls, man, them tall girls, they be sexy. Yeah, I'm saying confidence. They can't even be explained in words really and truly, but if you know, like, they just make sense. Cause you see, brother, like me, I'm a smart man. Why would I go for a girl that's 5'0" and risk my offspring being short? My mother did not take that risk. My father did not take that risk. Why would I come here and bring shame to my ancestors? And let's really put it into logistics. A lot of men are below 6 foot. Yeah. So that means now the market is capped. The market has been capped. It just makes it easier. Less competition.
Cause listen, bro, ain't nothing better, and I mean nothing, than a tall woman. Oh my God.
Now you're probably wondering, like, what's wrong with this video? I don't see anything wrong with this video. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, listen, I'm not saying that there's anything bad with the video. I honestly don't think they had any ill intent behind the video. But remember when I told you in the intro earlier to remember that it's men specifically saying these things? And, these videos of these men saying these things are getting a lot of likes and shares and comments and so forth and views. And I find that very interesting that it seems to be a lot of agreeance when they say it, whereas tall women have been saying this for years, for a very long time, and they're seen as being cocky or whining and complaining and so forth and so on. And I probably should have said this in my previous episode where I talk about societal beauty standards and the impact they have on tall women. Definitely recommend checking that out. But I probably could have brought this up, but I feel like this kind of seals the deal in that, in a way, this trend is showing that men kind of decide the societal beauty standards and what's considered conventionally attractive, because in a way, those things are rooted in patriarchal ideals. There are even comments under these videos saying, oh, so now y'all find tall women attractive, or that's what we've been saying this whole time, and so forth. And, you know, there are people in the comments saying, yeah, like, there are many men who find tall women attractive. And I'm also not saying that, you know, there aren't men out there who don't find tall women attractive. But I'm just like, why is this a trending idea when it should be a lifestyle? Does that make sense? Why is this idea that, yeah, tall women are attractive? Why is this a trend right now? Because in a trend, it kind of like, trends are kind of temporary. It's for right now. It's what's cool right now. But it's kind of like, in all essence, in all entirety, tall women are amazing people. And yes, we could say they're attractive, but you know, they're also amazing people, and there's other things to them besides their height. So I just find it interesting that, one, it's like a trending thing when a lot of these men are saying it, but then on the flip side, it's like, why is this even a trend anyways, when this should just be an overall thought? But anyways, I just found that very interesting. Yeah, but I mean, I just think in general, tall women have never really been able to hide from the male gaze in the online space, especially when they talk about their height, display it, even as something as simple as having it in their bios, in their social media bios. This idea kind of plays a huge part in the sexualization and fetishization. Jeez, I always struggle to say that word. Fetishization of tall women in the online space, in the social media space, because there are quite a few tall women in the social media space that, you know, openly display their height, but also wear certain things or wear certain costumes to kind of accentuate it, or to kind of highlight their height, or wearing something such as very short shorts with extremely high heels, or comparing their height to someone who's obviously shorter than them. And you know, the creeps eat that up, okay? Those types of videos with tall women doing certain things or wearing certain things to garner that attention and ultimately in a way sexualize themselves, it gets a lot of views, it gets a lot of comments, it gets a lot of likes, it gets a lot of saves and shares. You even see stuff in the comments like, oh, step on me, or dommy mommy, and all that weird stuff. And listen, if they want to do that, that's fine. Like, especially if they're doing it for a coin in this economy, get your money up, girly. Okay, I'm not pressed about that. Like, if that's something that you want to do and you want other people to do that as well, like, go for it. By all means, free will. We all have free will. But the issue with that is that gives the creeps permission, or it gives them the idea that, oh, they can just do that to any tall women, you know, without their consent. Even the tall women who don't want to portray themselves that way online, or don't want to do those things online, or don't want to receive that type of attention online, but they're tall women and they're just openly talking about their experiences as a tall woman or whatever. But, or even like, especially I see it with the tall fashion creators, how, you know, there will be creeps in their comments sexualizing them when they're literally just doing a try on haul. You know what I mean? So that sexualization, fetishization kind of gives or makes the creeps think that they have permission to say weird things online to all tall women, or any tall women, I should say. I did ask you guys in a poll over on Instagram, have you ever deleted or avoided posting something because of weird comments about your height? 38% said yes, it's too much sometimes, and 62% said no, screw them. Okay, I love that energy. Screw them. Exactly. Point blank, period. We post whatever we want because it's our accounts. Y'all don't pay our bills, period. But the yes is too much. I kind of agree. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have seen, like, scrolling through scrolling through the Tall Girlies content from time to time, I have seen comments of them making like derogatory comments or like rude comments about their height, or sexualizing them in the comments. And some of y'all have actually like posted it on your stories, tagging the person saying it and saying like, yo, leave me alone, etc. You're blocked and all of that. And I'm like, yes, like, put them on the spot, tell everybody, hey, these people are acting up, they're acting a fool, and so forth. Because I don't know, it's just like, leave us alone. Like, we're trying to post on social media and live our best lives. Yeah. So you kind of have that extreme in terms of the fetishization or sexualization of tall women on social media, which I've spoken about a couple times in this podcast. But then you have the other extreme with the rude comments and minimizing our experiences when we're talking about our struggles, which kind of leads me to ask, is it safe for tall women to talk about or display their height on social media or in the online space? Me asking as if I don't already have my height in all of my social media bios. But honestly, there are tall women out there who say that the weird treatment online stops when they don't talk about their height. Just food for thought. But then on the flip side, if you don't talk about your height, if you don't talk about the struggles of being tall, if you don't have your height in your bios, how are the tall girlies going to congregate? How are they going to unite on social media and create this safe space online with each other and for each other? Because social media can really seem like a sea full of short girlies. Girlies who are like 5'2", 5'3", wearing these cute outfits that can never fit us ever because it's too short, or being shorter than all of the men around them or around the same height as their short friends and so forth. And see, this is why, because okay, social media is making you insecure about being a tall girl because your feed is filled with short girlies. Nothing wrong with that and nothing wrong with them, okay? We love them down. But if that's all you see, obviously you're going to feel like the odd one out and that there's something wrong with your height. Think about it. A big reason why many of us hate being tall, dislike our height at a young age, is because we're surrounded by our friends, by our peers, even by adults who are shorter than us, even significantly shorter than us. We stick out. We feel like the odd one out and we just feel so awkward about it. The same applies in the online space.
Let's chat. Could I put you for a chat? Yeah. I am insecure. And what am I insecure about? Well, the list goes on and on, but specifically right now, I'm insecure about my height. That is like the root of my insecurities because I am 5'11", right? The average female is like, I think it's 5'6". And the average male, by the way, I think is 5'9". So I'm even taller than the average male height. Point is when I meet somebody, they are always like right here on me. So I can't help but feel like this giant monster. I hate it because I am the odd one out.
And that is also interesting because you have these short girlies, you have these petite girlies who don't understand the concept of tall girl friendly. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but I don't think that I can I don't think I could talk about short girlies on social media without talking about how these girlies are throwing around the term tall girl friendly. Like, does anyone understand what the term tall girl friendly means? Tell me why I'm scrolling through TikTok and I come across this video of a girl reviewing a pair of jeans and she's like, oh my gosh, these jeans are tall girl friendly. Like, look how they're dragging on the ground. Oh, by the way, I'm 5'5".
The woman was too stunned to speak.
Be so for real. As someone who's a little over 5'10", I am quite frankly very insulted. I'm going to see if I could try to find the video of that or a stitch to that video. And I'm going to see if I can include that in this episode.
They fit just like the Kate. They're perfect for tall girls. I'm 5'5", and they're a little long on me. So if I want to wear them with sneakers, I'll cuff them.
Okay, I'm 5'9", and I feel like I am too short to talk about anything even fitting tall girls. I am just a very firm believer that tall for women starts at 5'10". And as a 5'9" person, I always wanted to be tall. I always wanted to be 5'10". So much so that I just put it on my license because who's going to check? So if something it looks like maybe an inch too long on someone who's 5'5", it's not tall girl friendly.
So I did ask you guys in a poll over on Instagram, and just going to do a quick little plug here. Make sure you're following me at A Tall Girls Podcast so you could participate in these polls and have your opinions heard on these episodes. But I did ask you guys, have you ever seen a short person call something tall girl friendly? And it low-key wasn't. 65. Wow, what was that? What was that little squeak? 65. Yes, now I sound normal. 65% of you guys said yes, way too often. 22% said from time to time, but like why? And 13% said no. Okay, yeah, 65% of you guys saying yes way too often is kind of crazy. Am I surprised though? Absolutely not, because I don't know. I feel like it's more common from like the 5'6", maybe 5'7" girlies to say, yeah, like it's tall girl friendly, da 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 da. But I'm gonna see if I can insert that clip, or maybe you've already watched it or whatever, of a girl who was like 5'5" and said it was tall girl friendly. Ugh. We need to agree on what's considered tall girl friendly, because 5'5", 5'6", 5'7" is a bit like there's just a big difference between those heights, and being like 6'2", 6'3". Just saying. Anyways, back to the episode. No tea, no shade to her, okay? But I digress. The tall girlies are looking for other tall girlies on social media to congregate with, to get advice from, whether it's fitness or health or fashion advice or just life advice or confidence advice. Just someone they can relate to. I'm going to show you an example. We're absolutely desperate. For real. I'm gonna play a clip just as an example.
Okay, so this one is for all my tall girls out there who just need to hear something like this. Something that I wish I had heard, or I had heard from some fitness influencer when I was starting up my journey. When I started up my journey, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just doing it, right? And I would follow a bunch of these like fitness influencers who I wanted to look like, but I was never gonna look like them because they were 5 feet, 5'4", 5'2", and I'm 6 foot. So I was just, like, for a long time, very, very, very depressed in my own head. Not really showing it out to anybody, but I was just like so sad because I was putting in so much work, so much time, so much effort into the gym, and I was just like, why don't I look the way I want to look? Like, what is going on? But I never really thought about it, or I never heard it from anybody, so I didn't know any better, like I was just doing these things and I wanted to look a certain way, but I never really put it into my own head that I wasn't gonna look like that. And that's just where I was at. I was stuck in a place mentally to where I was like, I want to look this way, but I never told myself, girl, like, you're not gonna look like them, you are taller.
It's hard when you go to social media for some type of relatability, to feel some type of community, or to just find tips relating to some of the struggles you may have as a tall girl. And you're coming across videos that just don't make any sense to you, that you just can't connect with or relate to, because they're coming from people, from other women who are quite literally not around the same height as you and have not experienced the same things as you. They just don't understand. And that's not their fault, but they just don't get it. Where are the tall girl fitness influencers? Where are the tall girl fashion influencers? Where are the tall girl lifestyle influencers? Where are the tall girl plus size influencers? Where are the tall girl influencers? I'm tired of my feet looking 5'2". I did ask you guys again on Instagram, do you follow tall creators? 21% said, yep, that's mainly who I'm following. 66% said a decent amount, sure. And 13% said, heck no. How are 13% of y'all saying heck no, but like you're participating in my polls? I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're following me, yes, but like you most likely are. I should probably check back and see if y'all are following me, because it's like you kind of are following a tall creator if you're participating in these polls and saying heck no. Like, anyways, but yeah. The 66% that said a decent amount, sure. Yeah, I kind of agree. I like to have a variety because, I absolutely love having tall women on my feed. But I think having a variety is good. It's good to see all heights, all shapes, all sizes, kind of just to remind you, hey, like there's variety in the world. So we love a good amount of diversity. As a tall woman, you should be following other tall women on social media. Point blank, period. You know what? Tag your favorite tall creators in the comments, okay? Let's put the tall girlies on. And while we're at it, you should definitely follow me at a Tall Girls podcast, nothing like a quick little plug, because following other tall women, following other tall girlies who just get it and who can provide actual advice that you could apply in your own life is probably one of the best decisions you could ever make. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got my confidence from this podcast because I started connecting with other tall women on social media. And because I was connecting with other tall women on social media and actually started meeting them IRL, by the way, be safe, y'all. Okay, be safe out here in these streets. But okay, they were tall girl verified. But once that started happening and started forming that tall girl community, I was like, wow, like being tall is actually an amazing thing. Being tall is such a beautiful thing. Like, I just felt so bad about my height because I was around so many other people who were so much shorter than me, and it just felt like, wow, I look crazy among these people. I'm not gonna lie. But when you're with other tall girlies, when you're around people who are around the same height as you, you're like, okay, like period, I could do this. And that's why I'm saying following other tall women on social media is definitely one of the best confidence boosters for a tall girly who's struggling with her self-esteem because of her height. See, and then also with that kind of brings me to the other tall girl trend that low key I feel like should be popping off way more than these men out here saying, oh my God, like tall girls are everything, like tall girls over everything. Like, yes, we've been knew that. But the real tall girl trend that should be popping off is this other tall girl trend of basically tall girls. I'm gonna play the video in the video version if you're watching it, but I'm gonna describe it in the for the audio peoples, for the people listening on the audio, whatever, you know what I mean. But this trend is essentially tall women who it's either a photo carousel or just like a video or whatever of the text on the screen saying, oh, I wish I was 5'2" and like 110 pounds or something of that sort. And then it cuts to another video or another picture that's like psych or just kidding, and then it says her height like 6'2" and like 190 pounds or something, and she's absolutely loving it. And honestly, each and every tall girl who's done that trend, absolutely stunning, and they just look so confident in their bodies and so confident in their height. And I'm like, this is what we need more of. We love seeing tall women love their height, standing confidently and comfortably in it, having absolutely no shame in wearing heels. Honestly, that's what we need more of on social media. Okay, that's a trend that I can definitely get behind. And honestly, that can hopefully cancel out all of the rude comments that people are coming at tall women with, all the rude comments, and even all of the rude comments about their height and how they look awkward or this and that and the other, or even all of the sexual, I can't even, and even all of the sexualizing comments. It's, I don't know. The internet, like, people are just so weird, and it's just, there are so many creeps out here on social media, and you know, there is a kink for everything. There's a fetish for everything. And listen, there's nothing wrong with that. If you like that, go for it. Period. We love exploration. But, you know, if you're doing it to people who are not giving you permission to do such a thing, and, you know, who aren't comfortable with it or visibly not comfortable with it, or even strangers, if you're doing it to people that you don't know, like, no, that's a big no-no for me. But anyways, stay safe out there in the online space, y'all. Okay, I appreciate you. I am so glad you stayed till the end of this episode. You are amazing. Of course, as always, feel free to hit me up on my socials at the Tall Girls Podcast and let me know what you thought about this episode. If you think that the online space is a safe space for tall women, or if you don't think that it's a safe space for tall women, and even feel free to share your experiences in the social media world as a tall woman. Let's congregate over it. And of course, if you're a tall girly on social media, drop your @ because we need to be following each other, okay? The tall girlies need to congregate. And until then, I'll catch you in the next one. Good night and goodbye.